What if the biggest obstacle in your life isn't a lack of talent, money, or opportunity? What if it's actually the way you see yourself? Every single day, millions of people hold themselves back, not because they can't succeed, but because deep inside they just don't believe they deserve it. Self-esteem silently influences almost every decision we make. So in today's explainer, we're going to dive right into the hidden power of self-esteem, but we're going to look at it through a completely unexpected lens. To really understand it, we're going to borrow a concept straight out of the corporate world called valuation. Think about how businesses are bought, sold, and priced. It is fascinating when you apply this exact same logic to human psychology. Think about it. In our society, we are absolute experts at market valuation. We have entire global industries dedicated to calculating the exact price of companies, real estate, and physical assets. Yet when it comes to personal valuation, determining our own self-esteem, we completely freeze. Why is it that we can so easily calculate the price of a building, yet we struggle so deeply to value ourselves as human beings? And that brings up this really deep, provocative question. In a society that evaluates the price of absolutely everything, how do we define our own worth? We spend so much time obsessing over external metrics, right? Our salaries, our cars, our followers. But how do you calculate your own internal worth? The hard truth is, if you don't actively define this for yourself, the world will happily step in and assign a value to you. Section 1. Our personal valuation. Evaluating ourselves. Let's look at what true self-esteem actually is. So what exactly is this personal valuation anyway? Well, true self-esteem is a subjective, individual valuation. It's based entirely on your personal essence and the foundation you build to function well in the world. It's not some fictional metric, and it's definitely not a number on a spreadsheet. It's a foundational, internal value. You cannot wait for someone else to validate you or assign you a price tag. You have to give this value to yourself. It's totally an inside job. Section 2, the end of perfection. Accepting reality. To build this valuation accurately, we have to demolish a toxic myth. Listen, there are 3 simple but completely unavoidable human realities. Every single person on Earth possesses a mix of these 3 things. Number 1, strengths. These are the things we're just naturally good at. Number 2, flaws, our common, everyday defects. And number 3, dysfunctions, the parts of us that just literally do not work well at all. No one is perfectly wonderful, and no one is entirely terrible. The foundation of real self-esteem is the realistic acceptance of all 3 of these categories in your own life. Because when we refuse to accept reality, we fall into one of 2 really dangerous extremes. On one side, we might develop low self-esteem. That's when we fall into the false limiting belief that we are entirely bad, hopelessly dysfunctional, and completely unchangeable. Or we swing wildly to the other extreme, narcissism. This is the absolute delusion that you are flawless and wonderful at absolutely everything. Both are lies. To properly value yourself, you need honest eyes to see what's good, what isn't so good, and what you can actually change. Section 3, the power of essence, the danger of trends. Now that we know what true self-esteem is, let's look at where it comes from. We often get this completely wrong when we're raising children or even evaluating our own skills. We get swept up in societal trends. Think about forcing football on every boy or ballet on every girl, just because it's the popular thing to do. But true valuation, that comes from innate talents. It's that natural ease a kid has with drawing or intuitively picking up a musical instrument. So often, well-meaning parents blindly follow passing trends and accidentally block a child's natural gifts. We end up killing the very things that give a child a genuine sense of pride. Innate talents aren't a passing trend. They are your essence. Which brings us to a really firm rule: never get in the way. If you take away anything from this explainer, let it be this firm but empathetic warning. If we cannot actively help someone, or even ourselves, develop their innate gifts, the absolute least we must do is step back and not obstruct them. You have to let that essence breathe. Section 4, the lie of positive phrases. Building on real foundations. Let's look at how we try to fix self-esteem as adults. We have all seen this, right? Fake self-esteem. It's the whole trend of repeating empty affirmations into a mirror every morning. I'm good, I am wonderful. But here's the thing. If it's not based on reality, your brain simply doesn't believe it. It's a fragile house of cards. Solid self-esteem, on the other hand, is unbreakable confidence built upon the bedrock of your true essence. Real self-esteem isn't about repeating positive words. It's about investing in the actual foundations of who you are and what you genuinely do well. To make this super concrete, let's look at a highly vulnerable story from Dr. Anna B. Barboza herself. She had this profound realization. My essence wasn't to write perfectly, it was to write what I felt. As a child, she absolutely loved typing on her father's old typewriter. She'd imagined she was writing entire soap opera chapters. But when she was diagnosed with dyslexia, she abandoned her dream. She believed she couldn't be a writer because she made spelling errors. She let a dysfunction totally overshadow her essence. But she reclaimed her valuation through a very specific process. Step 1, she identified her innate joy. She recognized she just loved writing and communicating. Step 2, she faced the obstacle. She accepted her dyslexia and her spelling errors without letting them define her entire worth. And step 3, she reclaimed the essence. She realized she could simply use proofreaders. Her true talent was communication and emotion, not spelling. This brilliantly illustrates that highly practical solutions can overcome your flaws once you truly understand your core essence.
Section 5. The joy of being, the stamp of our essence. Now for the emotional climax of our explainer. I want to show you a famous, real-world example of what unstoppable self-esteem actually looks like in practice. This is the story of Renato Cerezo, a street sweeper in Rio de Janeiro during the carnival. His story sets such an energetic and inspiring tone for how we should all approach our daily lives. Renato didn't just sweep the streets. He swept them with immense pride. He danced with this incredibly infectious joy while working. He didn't desire a different life, and he didn't complain about his basic job. Because he poured so much love, energy, and pure essence into his work, he actually transformed a humble sweeping job into a highly prosperous, sought-after public speaking career. He literally printed his unique joy onto his reality. The crucial point here is this. Wherever you are, you have to leave your essence. You have to leave your stamp. That is the ultimate recipe for a fulfilling life and rock-solid self-esteem. It doesn't matter what your job title is or what obstacles you face. What matters is that you are building your personal valuation on your true self and leaving your unique fingerprint on absolutely everything you touch. Imagine if we applied this principle at a massive scale, like a literal human stock exchange. Imagine a world designed specifically to identify and invest in human talents rather than just corporate profits. When you put resources, training, and belief into a person's innate gifts, you don't just resurrect their self-esteem, you create something beautiful that benefits all of humanity. Nurturing human essence is the absolute highest yield investment we can possibly make. Your self-esteem is not fixed. It can grow, it can heal, and it can become one of the most powerful forces in your life. Which brings us to our final provocative question for you today. What innate talent do you need to reclaim today? What part of your essence did you leave behind because of a societal trend, a perceived flaw, or a false belief about your worth? I want you to really think about that. Your value isn't dictated by the market, it's dictated by you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. If this helped you reconnect with your forgotten talents, be sure to subscribe so we can keep exploring the ideas that shape our lives together. See you next time.